Netanyahu appears to place Iran in the same existential threat to world peace bucket as groups like Hamas, which is a sentiment that strikes a chord with many Americans like myself who've been conditioned with the civilizational clash propaganda since 9/11, after which we were told that Al-Qaeda's grievance with the West was our ability to attend baseball games and wear bikinis, not the presence of US military bases in the Arabian Peninsula or our military support of Israel. And just to be clear, I don't agree or condone any of Osama bin Laden's actions, and I can't really think of a single case where terrorism has been genuinely effective. But radical groups are almost always born from legitimate grievances that give militants the righteous high ground to carry out terror attacks. And I think that understanding why terror attacks happen is the only way to prevent them from happening in the future. This whole civilizational or religious clash nonsense that politicians of a dominant group use to make issues like the Israel-Palestine conflict seem ancient and unfixable is very deliberate, as it allows them to classify their ops as crazed savages with no ground to stand on, who could never be reasoned with and thus should either be eliminated or given the gift of modernity through occupation. And as for Netanyahu, without this existential clash smokescreen that is really easy to throw up when you're discussing Muslim-majority countries with the US, he'd be considered an enemy and a traitor to the US. After all, it was his testimony in 2002, delivered to US Congress, that prompted the US invasion of Iraq, where Netanyahu claimed, falsely, that Israel found evidence of nuclear weapons that had been manufactured by the Saddam Hussein regime.
This is a ruler who is rapidly expanding his arsenal of biological and chemical weapons. This is a dictator who has used these weapons of mass destruction against his subjects and his neighbors.
Of course, we know now there were no WMDs in Iraq, but the unnecessary invasion resulted in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Iraqis and thousands of US service members. You'd think our government would be like, Netanyahu, what the fuck, man? You lied to us the whole time. So many of us died, and even more of them died, and now everybody hates us. Which they probably did say for a minute, but were seemingly thereafter sweet-talked back into compliance and thanked by Israel for their willingness to help chip away at that old existential threat, which now sounds more like Arab sovereignty and or oil ownership.